We're off.
We're off.
We're off.
Oh, we're on.
We're on.
Are we live?
Live inside the place.
Live and direct.
Coming from my living room.
Saf's little flat. It's our little studio.
That's it, man. That's it. It's alright though, isn't it?
It's nice and cushy, you know. Like, I like the setup.
Yeah.
Proper comfortable.
Yeah, it's fine. I think it's alright.
It actually feels like a studio of some sort.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's because we've got these mics, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
Bougie.
probably why. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bougie. How are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. You?
Alhamdulillah, man. I'm all good.
Alhamdulillah.
This is
How's everything going?
Yeah, it's going good, man. I've just been thinking about this quite a lot, bro. Starting this podcast up.
Same.
I've been quite excited for it.
I'm gassed.
Yeah, proper, man. I feel like I need to put my energy into something productive.
Yeah,
And this
you
is
and me
it.
both.
Yeah.
Because I don't do anything that productive, to be honest. Except from day job.
I think since, especially since quarantine as well, like obviously can't go to gym and stuff like that, and I think that this is a good time to start this.
I agree.
Yeah, man.
Should we tell everyone who we are and what we're doing?
I think so, man. For those who will eventually, hopefully, inshallah, listen to this.
Inshallah. Can you turn your mic up just like one button on the plus button?
Yeah, man. There you go. All done.
Sweet, that should be calm. Technical glitches.
That's all right, man. It's part of the gig. Do you want to start, bro? Do you want to say who we are?
That must mean we're professionals now.
I think so, man. We're official podcasters.
Man, it's mad. Right, yes. So, my name's Saf. I'm 27. I'm a Bangladeshi male. Obviously, it'd be weird if I was a female with a deep voice. I was born here in England, as I say, 27 years ago. And the purpose of this podcast, Solly is my guy, that's my best pal. So we were talking and we thought this would be a good thing to do, just simply to spread, not knowledge because we're not knowledgeable, but just let people know that there's a lot of trials and tribulations that people of our age, slightly younger, slightly older, have been through and will continue to go through. A lot of topics that might shock you that we're going to talk about in the upcoming podcast as well. And we thought it was important to speak about it. So that's why we started it. And that's, a bit about me. I've lived here in England all my life, in Sussex, predominantly white area. And that's going to be a lot of what we talk about in some of the topics moving forward.
Yeah, I think you summed it up quite well there, Saf. Couldn't have done it better myself.
You're probably good on.
So yeah, as Saf was saying, very very similar background to Saf. So I'm Solly. I'm 26, and like Saf, I grew up in Sussex / kind of Brighton area for all of my life. And there's a lot of things that we've experienced in our area, in a predominantly kind of white area, as kind of Bangladeshi, Asian, Muslim men. And we just wanted to kind of shed some light on our experiences and some of the stuff that we've kind of faced in our life, some of the experience that we've come across. Not only that as well, but kind of touch upon specific kind of issues within our community, like taboo subjects, for example. It's not talked about enough in our culture, and people tend to shy away from it. And we're all about that. We're not going to shy away from that.
No.
So we're going to go all in. And inshallah, man, hopefully we could spread some, not knowledge, like you said, but just like some of our experiences and our opinions and our views.
Definitely. And it's things that we talk about in our personal conversations as well. So we thought if we speak about these things anyway, so we might as well record it, and someone out there somewhere might find just listening to a conversation like this and thinking, oh, do you know what? They're going through or have been through the same issues that I'm going through right now. It might just help to put people's minds at ease a bit, knowing that, it's okay and you're not the only one. And there are, other people out there who have experienced the same things. And perhaps by listening to this, that person might know that, okay, well, they dealt with it like this. Maybe that will work for me as well.
Yeah, I think so. And like you said, it's something we kind of talk about anyways. Like we have discussions like this every day, basically, all the time. And we thought, I personally think these discussions are quite entertaining. So hopefully we could entertain some people. But as Saf said, it's not our main focus. It's to talk about our experiences, and hopefully it can relate to some of you. And you can hopefully, get some sort of guidance, if that's the right word, just listen to our conversations and kind of relating to some of the topics that we talk about and some of our experiences.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, in a nutshell, that is what this is.
Yeah, man. What's the ground rules?
So we spoke about this before. We have a few ground rules. So we're not gonna swear or curse.
Try.
We'll try not to, because I think the main reason for that is, we don't know who's going to be listening to this. Some younger people might listen to some kids.
Yeah, man.
We don't want to give off the wrong impression. We want to be respectable. And I think it's better for us kind of not swearing as well, because it's going to be better for our vocabulary, isn't it? It's like,
100%. Even in our it's not something that we should be doing, but like sometimes when you're talking passionately about something, it's used as like a way just to express how much or how strongly you feel about it. But it's not necessarily right, so we're going to try not to do that. We might get instances where it happens.
Yeah, I think when
apologies in advance.
Yeah, I think when in the heat of the moment, like sometimes it can.
And some of our conversations get proper passionate.
Yeah, they do.
Wait till you get our friends on this.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, I could
think we're bad.
Yeah, I could definitely think of a few others that we could bring on here that are quite opinionated. So yeah, no swearing is one of our ground rules. Another ground rule is we don't claim to be, and we're not knowledgeable people. So there will be topics that we touch on kind of Islamically, but we all kind of talk about our views and what we know. We're not going to spread false information, and we're not going to talk about topics that we don't have enough knowledge on.
And I encourage people to fact check as well. Again, like we're not knowledgeable like that. So if in the event that we might give an opinion or say something which might not necessarily be correct, but it's not supposed to be correct or incorrect because it's just our opinion, right?
Yeah.
So if there is ever a time, we encourage anyone who listens to actually go and find out for themselves, to truly understand the Islamic perspective of it anyway, because the best we can do is give our opinions, because we don't know, we don't have knowledge like that. So
yeah, and
fact check.
Exactly, fact check. And I think, again, one of the things that we kind of talk about on a daily basis is like religion and experiences, and like hopefully we keep each other in check. So yeah, that's definitely a good point there, Saf. And another thing as well is, for people that will eventually come across this, you might not necessarily agree with our opinions, and like you might like a few people on here and dislike a few people, and like that's like completely okay. Like we are expecting that, actually.
For sure.
Some people might resonate with my views more than Saf, for example, because although we're quite similar, there's definitely a lot of similarities in our opinions and our approaches to things.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah. And the way we deliver those opinions as well, I think is very different, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. So apologies if we, number one, offend anyone. Apologies if you don't like the way that we portray ourselves, or whatever. But yeah, we are who we are in it at the end of the day.
We shouldn't even have to apologise for that.
Yeah, bro. I don't. Yeah, no. Do you know what it is? I shouldn't be apologising for it, and I kind of take that back.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, like, don't apologise.
No, I'm not going to apologise, but basically, yeah, we just hope that you'll be
respectful,
more open with who we are as people. I can be very opinionated at times, to the point where I seem forceful or pushy.
Yeah.
And basically, what I'm saying is, I hope like people don't mind that too much. It's not. I'm not giving that off. I'm not trying to be like that, but it's just what I'm like.
Yeah, that's true, man. And on the topic of kind of setting the ground rules, one thing that we said as well, although at the moment this is purely a platform that we're starting, like we've got no viewers or listeners at the moment, but inshallah that will grow over time. That's not the main purpose, but inshallah we'll have some people listen to this, and we wanted to kind of use this platform as well to kind of shine a light on specific topics and good causes, like specific charities and organisations that are doing good work. Because even though we don't have a big following, you should always raise an awareness, no matter if you've got a big following or a small following.
Always.
It's part of our character.
Always.
And as Muslims, we should always raise awareness for big topics.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's always people out there who need help, and we have a roof over our head, somewhere to sleep, and food in our belly. So we're already more lucky
Blessed.
than most of the people on the planet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if you're not crazy rich or whatever, or have like really nice cars or really nice house or this, that, and the other, but we are safe and we're healthy, which is the main thing. Which is, inshallah, alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us with that. So we just need to raise awareness for the people who haven't been blessed with that.
Yeah, so if we come across any charities that are doing good works, we're going to definitely promote that.
And also people, there's enough people out there, individuals who are doing something really, really good, but maybe they don't have anyone to share that with, or maybe they don't have any kind of place to voice that, or anywhere to have people other than themselves and their friends and family know about it.
Yeah.
So if we do come across any individuals on that who are kind of doing those things, then we're also going to be, shining a light on that as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. I agree. But I think that more or less covers the kind of, I suppose, like the intro and the groundwork. So the ground kind of
Groundwork.
Ground rules.
So when did you start your building job?
Ground rules. That's the word I was looking for.
Your beard is looking nice, mashallah.
Oh, right, it's quarantine, man. I've been trying to grow it, man. Yours is looking good as well.
It looks. Now, do you know what it is with mine? So it goes down a little bit, and then it curls upwards. So that's why it looks really like it is thick, like here.
Yeah.
But it comes down and grows up. Curls up. Yeah. That's why it looks like thicker than what it probably.
It's good, though. It gives it an illusion. If anything, I mean, today is 4th of July.
Is it the 4th? Yeah, I think so.
Today's the day where like the barbershops and everything open up.
Yes.
And obviously there's so many people that are going in for trims today. But I'm personally waiting just before Eid. I'm going to grow it out a little bit more.
Yeah. I am as well. I don't think you should cut your beard though.
No, I don't think I want to cut my beard. I think I'm just going to like shape it up. But my hair, I don't want to reveal it because it looks like a mess at the moment. This is why I'm wearing a cap. But yeah, man, my hair's the longest it's ever been.
Swear.
Yeah.
That's mad.
I say
it's proper curly as well.
It's quite wavy. I say that it's not actually that long, but
it's the longest it's ever
been. As long as it's been for me personally.
Yeah. I'm about probably 9 months away still from having mine the longest it's ever been. Mine was long at one stage. I don't think I've
ever seen it that long.
No, you haven't. No, this was before. Oh yeah, a bit more background. So me and you have only known each other just over 2 years.
Yeah, not even that long to be fair.
It feels like forever.
You know what it is, yeah? Like, some
in a good way.
Obviously. Yeah, like in a good way. But like, because you know what some people say is like, I think they say you have to know someone for a long amount of time for them to be like a really good friend or really close. But nah, that's not.
I don't think that's true. No, I don't think that's true. Like some people, you can know them for like a short space of time, but you just at the end of the day, if you're similar personalities, similar interests,
values,
if
you just click, you click basically.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's very much what happened with us, and we met through a mutual friend.
Yeah, man. And obviously, when we
he knows who he is. Shout out him.
Shout out to that friend.
I would say his name, but obviously he might not want us to.
Wait until he comes on. He'll be a good guest.
Oh, he'd be a sick guest. Yeah. Do you think he's too much of a joker though?
That's who he is.
Like he's serious, as in he's on. When it comes to his like day job, he's on point. Like serious. Right. He's a like a proper career professional.
Yeah, he is.
Obviously, but like outside of those hours, he's a joker.
I reckon that
maybe too much of a joker.
I reckon that's still be good.
We'll have him on either way.
Yeah, we'll have him on either way. It's always good to have another perspective, definitely. So
he'll be entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I think so, bro. And you mentioned like obviously background. I think we should give a little bit more of a background, bro. Like in terms of like our experience growing up here, and obviously it kind of ties in with why we're doing this. So why don't you tell me, bro, or for some of the listeners, like your experiences basically growing up, because we grew up here all our life, and we were literally like the only minorities in that area.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I think we should definitely shed some light on that.
Cool. Yeah. So I grew up in obviously Sussex, near Brighton, a little village, just probably distance-wise, maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 miles away from Brighton, right? Little village, probably had about, I'd say, 2,000 residents, if that. So not
It's
not
mad.
a big place
Literally a
at
small
all.
village.
Yeah, literally
Yeah,
not.
perfect setting for a horror film.
Yeah, proper man. And it was like really in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by grass, fields, farms, this, that, and the other. There was public transport was shocking. There was no train station. There was a bus that went to Brighton once every hour. So can you imagine once every hour in London?
That's
These
dead.
buses come like once every few minutes.
People like obviously, hopefully, a lot of our listeners will be kind of within our community, like Muslims, Asians, and you have big pockets of communities in cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, places like that, and they will be listening to us, like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
Like,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, it's mad.
This is why we like. This is one of the reasons why we're doing this again, and I touched upon it before. It's because like there's not many of us in these areas,
Nah.
so it's like a unique perspective.
Yeah, definitely, man. So yeah, grew up in the sticks. Went to school in the sticks. Went to a school where I went to a school where it was like 99.9% white kids, and there was, I think, in my year. Obviously, this is going back like over 10 years, so I don't remember correctly, but in my year, like I was probably one of maybe, bro, like 3 or 4 kids. In the years above and below, it was basically the same. Like in the year above, I remember there was like one Asian kid. In the year below, I remember there was one Asian kid. When it got to sixth form, it got a little bit more multicultural. But you know, it was really interesting to see, yeah, in sixth form especially, the groups of different ethnicities would like stick together.
Yeah,
And it was crazy. It was mad. Like when you see it and you're like,
it's like cliques, like cliques
yeah,
of people.
yeah. So all the black people would stick with each other. Asian people, there weren't actually many at all. There was literally like me and maybe like one other. That was it. All the white people would kind of stick together. We had a lot of people from like East Asia.
Yeah,
So like,
this is in secondary school.
this is like sixth form.
Okay, yeah.
So this is like so like Chinese people who would basically all stick together. And you'd think like, where did you get black people, Chinese people, etc. if you grew up in the sticks? Now our school it is a comprehensive school, but there is a section of it where it allows for families who are based abroad to send their kids there. And a lot of people did actually. You'd be surprised like how many people from like Africa, the Caribbean, Asians, but not South Asians, East Asians, Chinese people, right? And surrounding countries, they would send their kids actually to our school. But that was really only in sixth form.
Yeah.
It was never in year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It was only in the sixth form part that people would do that.
Yeah.
And I think the reason they did that was so that they could come here to get their A-levels to then take them into a university here in England.
Yeah.
Because obviously we have good unis here, innit? So I think that's why that happened. I've had many altercations in the areas I've lived in due to racism.
Yeah.
Which is another topic that we might or might not talk about. We'll see.
Yeah, I think like racism is gonna like be an underlying theme in most of our discussions.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, obviously we might have like a topic specifically on it.
Yeah.
Maybe like subcategories of racism. But yeah, we'll definitely touch upon it, I think, as we kind of have
100%.
discussions.
Definitely. And growing up where I grew up, if you saw another Asian person, particularly of the same age as you, it was like, you know that Spider-Man meme where there's two Spider-Mans and they're both pointing at each other? Right? It was like that. It was like that. And it was like, oh my God. It's like you've never seen an Asian person before. Yeah,
it's my fellow brother.
Yeah.
My fellow countryman.
Literally, yeah, that's what it was like. And I was never involved in, obviously, in Brighton and surrounding areas, there are a lot of other Asian families, of course.
Yeah, like,
I think not specifically where I was.
I think in this city, like, it is a bit more diverse.
Yeah.
Even though we say diverse, it's still going to be, like, it's maybe still, maybe, like, 85%, 90% white still.
Yeah, definitely. And, like, even though there were other Asian families in Brighton, Hove, surrounding areas.
Like, I'm from Brighton surrounding. I didn't meet you until I was, like 23 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we lived like fairly close all our lives.
Exactly.
We didn't know each other.
And not only that, those people within our Asian community were not accessible to me because of the public transport situation.
Yeah.
And also, my mum just was so shook of letting me out of the house. It was crazy. Do you remember actually the first time you were allowed out on your own? Do you remember that time?
I don't remember a specific time, but I remember like asking, and like I have a younger brother, and I can remember back to him actually having to even ask at times.
Yeah.
For,
Do you want to hear my first time? Right. So check
on.
this.
I'm
Right.
surprised you actually remember.
So I was probably like, yeah, bro, that was like liberating for me.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Imagine being allowed out on
Yeah.
your own for the first time.
Yeah, especially in an Asian household.
Man.
I think it's even probably worse, like for girls. I reckon.
Yeah,
Obviously, we
100%.
can't speak from their experiences, but from what we
Generally,
heard,
they have it bad, innit?
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Asian girls, actually. So, right, check this. My first time, I was probably, I don't know, bro, like maybe, I'd say somewhere in the ages between like 12, 13, 14, somewhere like that, right? And it was a weekend, and my mum and dad were home, and round the corner from where I lived, obviously, there was a big park, and all my pals used to go there in the summer after school or on weekends, and we just used to kick ball, yeah? And all the time they used to say, yeah, Saf, come we kick ball. I was like, okay, let me ask. I need to ask my mum, innit?
Yeah.
Ask my mum, always say no. Then one time, randomly out of the blue on a Saturday, my best pal, who's a white guy, he knocked on my door. I didn't know he was coming. And phones and that, obviously, at that time were not like, we weren't really...
Oh, the house phones. Like, he even used
house
them.
phones, yeah, that's it. So those were the days when people would actually have to come and knock for you.
Bro, you're making it sound like proper old, isn't it?
It's yeah, I am making it sound proper old, but it's crazy
But it's actually
how much
true how much things have changed.
Yeah, how much it's changed. So he came and knocked on the door, and it was him and like maybe two of my other friends, and they're like, "Do you want to come and?" And they made an effort because they have to walk past the park to get to my house.
Yeah.
So they actually made an effort. So then I went and asked my mum, and I remember her and my dad were in the kitchen cooking. So I was like, I came in and I was like really quite like, mum, like my friend's at the door. Can I go and play football at the park? And straight away, with so much confidence, she was like, no. And then my dad was like, you can't like just keep him like locked in the house.
And your friends are right there as well.
Right there, yeah. They were waiting at the door. And my dad was like, you have to let him go out. Like, what's he going to do all day, every day at home? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then my dad was like, look, just go in it. It's calm. So I was like, what?
You were like, no wonder way to remember it.
This is sick. I was like, I'm going to go to the shop before I go to the park. And then I was like,
treat yourself to some Freddos and like...
I asked my dad for £2 and he gave me £2. I went and got like slush puppy. I went and got a drink. I got some crisps.
You could get Freddo for like 5p and you could walk out with like, I don't know, a big pack of Monster Munch.
Trust me.
And like 3 or 4 Freddos, a can of Coke, like all sorts.
And then, so that was probably about 11 in the morning. And I remember I didn't come home probably until about 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. I was playing football all day. We were playing. Got home and my mum was not happy.
Really?
Not happy because she was like, where have you been for like 7, 8 hours?
That's probably why I remember it, because you probably got your ass whooped, innit?
I did get my ass whooped, but she was not happy at all. And then I was like, look, I was just playing football. Like, I don't really like want women to do at home. Basically, I was just repeating what my dad had said. And then after that, I'd ask her.
I was going to check the camera real quick. You carry on talking, yeah?
Yeah. She kept saying no, but then I would just ask my dad from there on in, and he would always say yes. My dad was blessed, you know.
Your dad sounds it, man. Your dad sounds, from what I've heard, he sounds like a chilled guy. But I think mums tend to be a little bit more strict.
Yeah.
And I think the fact, like, growing up in our area as well, like, you know, when you have like other Muslim friends or other like Bengali friends, for example, I feel like your mum trusts you a little bit with those people, if that makes sense, when you're younger.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like
definitely,
when you're here, and obviously, you know, where there's only like white people, because they're not like seen as your own people, maybe our parents were a little bit more like hesitant and a little bit more strict.
Could be, but then at the same time, what are you going to be doing, even if they are white people or people from outside of your own ethnic community? What are you going to be doing at 12 years old, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it applies a bit when you're older, but yeah. Possibly.
So yeah, that was one thing that I really struggled with actually growing up, and that was weirdly enough actually nothing to do with growing up in a white area. That was an internal situation where I just struggled where I just was not allowed out. And then so that we went to the, if we rewind before that, obviously I loved football in it from when I was about maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8, something like this. And I wanted to join the local team, and my mum would not let me join the team because she thought I was going to break my leg, and she just would not do it.
So, overprotective, man.
Wow, massively. And bro, imagine for basically up until I was 12, 13, 14, like my weekends and I after schools were literally spent at home, and I don't have any siblings who are anywhere near the same age as me.
Yeah, they're older than you.
Way older.
Yeah.
So I'm just here like...
You must have been hella bored, boy.
So bored, man. So bored. Yeah. Literally. Like, I couldn't escape. I couldn't actually do anything except for play video games. But if I played for too long, then I'd hold a beating. So
yeah, like,
I'm just
what can you do? Just
what can I actually do? Like, there's nothing.
Like, you're getting told off for being at home playing games, and you're getting told off for being outside.
What can I do?
Yeah, what can you do?
But
you know what that reminds me of, bro?
Yeah.
I know I'm just like slightly interrupting, but there's a meme I saw. It's like in like Asian, Arab, and African households, like you have so much so you could do, and then each year unlock like a new privilege. It's just like, oh, you might be able to go outside for like an hour.
And that's so true. And that is literally how it worked, yeah. And then like slowly as I started going out more and more, and I was a sensible kid, I've never been like too wild or nothing like that. And when my mum realised that, then she was a lot more just kind of like flexible, like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like she understood that I was not like wild or stupid or nothing like that. So then after like so after that period of time, then it was just blessed.
Then it was calm.
Yeah, it was fine.
You need to get past that initial. Like,
it's like you have to prove yourself that you're not going to do nothing crazy.
You have to get past that initial test and like prove yourself to your parents.
They made that test hard, man. That was harder than like A levels.
Probably was, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That test was mad.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, that's kind of how it went for me. That story took me ages. I'm really sorry.
That's calm, bro. I didn't actually know that. It's good to know, man. And like, what I'll obviously talk about a little bit about my background, and I could already think of some funny stories in school, man, that I think sums up like what it's like to be an ethnic minority in our area. So similar to Saf, I grew up in a small town in Sussex, just outside Brighton. And literally in my town, like it's full of like old white people and like families, and there's no other like ethnic minorities really. Like in my school, literally in my year, like I could think of all the ethnic people in my year group, and there was 4 of us in total. Man. So I went to school with my cousin. He's the same age as me. He was in my same year, and then there was another Bengali girl, and there's an Iranian guy. So that's 5. There's a black girl.
Okay.
But like that's
still
that's literally
how many hundreds of kids?
Literally, it's like in our year group there's like 200 people.
Yeah.
And only 5 of us were like ethnic.
That's mad.
And then even in the year below, it's very similar. And the year above, very similar. So if you think about how many of us in each year group and think about the total amount as a percentage, it's still like what, 97, 98,
probably more.
Even more white people. So that's what it was like. And bro, like, so that was in my secondary school, and like I just thought of a funny story, man. Even in my primary school, man, like again, no other ethnic minorities, and they were so ignorant, man. Like, bro, I'm gonna tell you one story now. I don't think I actually told you before.
Oh, okay.
Bro, so I might have told you actually, I don't know, but basically I think it was in year 4 or 5, and I remember it quite well.
Primary school.
Yeah, we used to do RE, obviously, and learning about different religions and stuff. And then we had a topic on Islam. And basically, we had to do a school assembly, like a play, to like basically show the whole school, basically what we know and all of that. Bro, it's so bad, man. So they were so stupid, man, so ignorant. They cast someone as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, bro. And the thing is, I was the only brown kid, and it wasn't even me. Not that obviously I wanted it, because obviously it's haram. But bro, they chose some white kid, man.
Really?
A kid called Kane, yeah. A white kid, yeah. Kane.
What, like the wrestler?
Yeah, like the wrestler. They chose some white kid to be the like Prophet, peace be upon him, bro. And like, I remember in the assembly, man, and he was, because he enacted basically when the Quran was sent down, and he was in Mount Hira, and he was just like pretending to pray on the ground. And like at the time, obviously you're a kid, you don't really understand. But looking back at it now, so bad, man.
That's terrible.
That's so bad.
Wow.
I can't believe that happened.
No, that's wild.
And
man.
like that definitely happened, bro. I remember it really well. And yeah, man, they literally had someone to play the prophet.
What?
Yeah.
It shows you like.
And they thought it was okay. The teachers thought it was okay.
That's a problem in itself, because they're teaching you these. They're supposed to be teachers, but that tells you that they don't necessarily actually know what they're teaching, because you're not supposed to do that.
And I think at that time, people are a lot more ignorant than, even now they're ignorant, but even back then, bro, even more so.
Yeah.
And man,
they have no regard. Like that literally shows like it's exactly what you say. It's a lack of knowledge on their part.
Mm.
Lack of knowledge, lack of respect, probably. Like,
And that's the aftermath or like effect of having literally no other minorities in the area. They're just so ignorant that they don't necessarily know what they're doing wrong. Obviously, there are people that are racist, this and that, but on a whole, it's ignorance.
Yeah,
Like,
massively.
they don't understand. So yeah,
Massively.
I just thought.
But
that's,
also
yeah.
at the same time, like, it doesn't. They might not necessarily have anyone there to tell them it's wrong, but it doesn't exactly take long to find out, does it?
Yeah, like if you actually
quick Google search,
if a
and you
teacher,
basically know.
if a teacher was teaching about Islam, surely you could go in and see like to depict the Prophet's haram.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
trust me. That's have they not ever thought, like, you have paintings and statues and stuff like that of Jesus, right? Prophet Isa. But you'd never have. Obviously, that's in Christianity, yeah. But have they never thought that? Oh, how come Muslims don't have these statues and portraits and things like that of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? Like, surely you would think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
and then think, oh, there must be a reason for it. Let me see what the reason is.
Yeah, man. Like, and I just thought of another thing as well. Like we were doing something to do with like Aladdin or something, like reading a story or something, and then the teacher brings out a prayer mat and says, "It's a magic carpet." Bruv, like it's just stuff like that used to happen on a daily, and I'm just thinking about some of the examples. There's a lot more that happened. And
I wonder where they got the prayer mat from.
Yeah, no, me too. I don't know where, bro. But stuff like that we had to go through. But you wouldn't get that if you're growing up in like London or something. Do you know what I mean?
Like, that's terrible.
So bad,
That's
man.
really
And
bad.
like, so yeah, this
I wonder
this
what
is
they did with the prayer mat as well afterwards, man.
who knows, man. Who knows?
They just whacked it in like a storage cupboard or something.
Probably they just probably kept it for the next year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that really pissed me off, man. Like think about it now, and like again in my primary school, like I remember I was in an art class once, and because again I was like the only like ethnic minority, one of them. Like they sent in like a teaching assistant to help me basically because they thought I needed help because
In an art class.
because they thought I'm stupid, basically. And I remember the person come in and like it came and told my teacher like, oh yeah, I'm here for Solly or Solomon, and then I remember my teacher actually she basically turned around to him and said, nah, he don't need help, he's fine.
Oh, good.
So she was calm. But it's just stuff like that like used to happen. But yeah,
mad,
that's like some of the experience we had in school, and obviously being in our surrounding areas, like there was no one else, and I think at times we felt like outsiders. We felt different, you know. As kids, you don't really realise it, I don't think too much, but as you get older...
Oh, yeah. As kids, you don't realise it at all.
I think as you get older, like, obviously, towards the end of secondary school, like college, uni, this is where, like, the differences really come in.
Did your parents ever warn you of racism?
No, I don't think they really kind of knew. Like, I think they experienced stuff as well, but maybe necessarily didn't know. So obviously, like, I grew up, a lot of my childhood, I grew up with my mum. She kind of raised us on her own, but she never... No, I don't think she kind of knew too much. Like, they probably experienced it, but they didn't know or didn't know how to talk about it. But I can't remember my mum ever, like, warning us of it.
Same.
Yeah, we just kind of had to experience ourselves.
And go through that. Yeah, we weren't geared up for dealing with it if we didn't know that it, essentially at that age, that it really even existed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's it, man.
And you look back on it, it's only now that you look back on it when you're older and you think, actually, do you know what, that's bare racist, bro.
Yeah, I was kind of like a quiet, like a shy, kind of like a good kid. So I didn't really get involved in fights and stuff growing up. But I had older cousins that would regularly get into fights because of racism.
Because of racism, yeah, man.
But yeah, I think at times it is a lot subtle. Sometimes it's quite obvious. But yeah, man, crazy, man. Looking back at it now.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's bring it back round. What are we? So this podcast, what are we trying to achieve?
I think one of the main things really is just talking about experiences. I think you touched upon it at the beginning. Like, there's going to be instances, situations that other people would have experienced, or currently are experiencing, or will experience in the future. So I think if we just give our views on it, like we've been through it, or I mean, we might not have.
We've been through a lot.
Yeah, we've been through a lot. So I think it's just shedding light on some of the things that we've experienced, and I think we want to use this platform to talk about specific issues and taboo subjects within our culture and our community that aren't necessarily spoken about.
Definitely.
So that's one of the main reasons for it. Anything else you want to kind of add to it?
No, I think you've pretty much got it spot on. To be honest, it's I think it's something that people can just relate to a little bit.
Yeah.
Because imagine if there's a kid 14, 15, 16 years old going through similar things that we are now, and they listen to this,
Yeah.
and we might say about, oh, we dealt with it like this. Perhaps it's something that they could also apply to deal with a certain situation.
Yeah, I think so.
Or feel a certain way or whatever.
Yeah, and I think like people hopefully will bring on some of our friends and other guests. And I think we've all experienced something different that people can relate to. So yeah, it's just talking about kind of some of those issues and some of those topics.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think some people might not necessarily feel like, like they could talk about certain things with their parents or maybe some of their friend groups. And
I used to talk to my parents about like literally nothing to do with what was happening in my life outside the home.
Yeah,
outside my home.
That's it.
Never.
And
even still, really now.
Like, you know what it is as well. Like I'm the same. Like you don't typically, and I think it's the same for many Muslim Asian households. And I think what even makes it even harder as well. Growing up, we didn't necessarily have like other Muslim friends really to talk about these things with.
But also at the same time, it's not that I don't regret having Asian or Muslim friends growing up, but it did teach me a lot about white people, like generally, and also, you know this, but people who might be listening obviously might not necessarily know this, but that group of that Asian community who are similar age to us you might not necessarily have clicked with a lot of those people.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
Because in like the area we're in, obviously there are other pockets of like Bengali, like minority Asian families.
Yeah, there's cliques within that as well.
But like,
it's mad, isn't it?
I never really mixed or was friends with these other people because I didn't really relate to them. If I'm honest, like they were like, I remember going to college. So like where I was at secondary school is obviously in the small town. And we didn't have a sixth form like you did. So when it was time to go to college, you had to go into Brighton or any other like town around the area. I think some people went to Eastbourne, some people went to like other areas around. So I went into Brighton. And obviously Brighton's a little bit more diverse. Like there's, more Muslims, Arabs, Bengalis, whatnot. And I think in the college there was a few other kind of Bengali boys and girls. And like even like Pakistanis, like obviously other cultures, other ethnicities, but I necessarily didn't click with them because I didn't really resonate with them. I wasn't your typical like Asian, like obviously like those people that are into their cars.
That's probably because of your upbringing up to that point being predominantly your friends would have been white. I'm guessing, same as me.
Yeah,
that's probably because of that though, isn't it?
Yeah, this is why like we said at the beginning we felt like outsiders, even within our culture, sometimes even so as well.
That's why we're called the Native Outcasts.
Yeah, we thought of that name, which I think is quite good because, like, we're native to this country, right?
Yeah.
We were born and bred here, but we felt like outcasts, like we're casted out, especially where we were. People were ignorant and they would look at us maybe, and if we were walking towards the same way as them, an old woman would cross over the road, right?
Yeah. Like, that always makes me laugh.
Yeah,
that always makes me laugh because I just think to myself like, what do you think I'm going to do? And we shouldn't have to, but now I have to make a conscious decision to make sure I know it's the sunnah to smile at people, like generally, but I might not want to smile at everyone, all the time. What if my cheekbones hurt? I might not necessarily want to smile at everyone. So now I have to make a conscious effort for whoever walks past me, particularly if it's someone elderly, to smile at them, and that's my way of letting them know
you're a good guy.
I'm a good one.
Okay. You're one of the good ones. Yeah, you have to give them a little smile, a little nod.
Yeah. So I'm like, but I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that.
Like, bro, like again, like in my town where I grew up, there was one supermarket, the Co-op, and that was like the supermarket of the town. And I remember like going in and like security guard literally would like follow you and like look at you weird. Because obviously you were Asian. Do you know what I mean? It's small things like that, man. Like it really ticks you off.
I remember one time, check this. So me and my brother went to. So my brother is quite a bit older than me, and we went into Boots one time. So we went into Boots, and he wanted to buy some multivitamins, right? So he got his multivitamins, and he had a bag with him already. So he got his multivitamins. We went out to the self checkout thing.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it wasn't even the self checkout.
I don't think they even had them.
No, it was the normal checkout.
Yeah.
It was the normal checkout. So we went to the till, paid for it, got a receipt, this, that, and the other. He's already got a bag, and he's only buying multivitamins that are like this big. So we don't need another bag. So anyway, he's put it in the bag.
Yeah.
And we've walked out. As we're walking out, the security guard is like, stops us. He's like, can I search your bag?
For no reason at all.
Literally for no reason.
Yeah.
And my brother's quite a straight talking guy, innit?
Yeah.
So he was like, why? Like, why do you want to search my bag? Like, what do you...
Yeah.
And I remember exactly how we were dressed as well. We both had caps on, and we were both wearing hoodies, black hoodies, as well. So immediately we thought, we knew why, but obviously you ask
Yeah.
him
See
why.
what they say.
Yeah, ask him why. And he was like, oh, nah, it's just something that we do like randomly, like spot check.
Randomly.
Randomly.
Yeah, sure.
And my brother was like, basically kicked up a fuss, rightfully so, I think, because he was like, you can't just turn around and
The
just
only reason they're so is because they're two brown boys.
And as we've discovered from our previous conversation, or like just a minute ago, is there aren't many black people, Asian people, people of other minorities in that particular area that we grew up.
Yeah.
So for you to say, oh, we randomly stopped you, no, because we're probably the only Asian people you've seen in like the past week.
Yeah.
So it's not random, is it?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy, man.
And he started, and bro, it was so funny, man. He started shouting in the shop, going, "Hey, look, everyone, this guy's a racist."
Bro, your brother, man, he's funny.
He's a G, bro. Yeah, he's a G. He's a real one. Yeah, man, he's funny, man. But yeah, bro, that was just like one experience out of like many experiences.
Yeah, man. Like stuff like this happens. And I think, yeah, it's something we had to kind of put up with, like day in day out growing up, and we might not have necessarily noticed as a kid, like because I was quite timid, quite shy, quite mellow. Like I didn't notice a lot of things until I got older. Like I kind of kept myself to myself. But yeah, a lot of stuff like this happened on a daily for us.
100, man.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen everywhere else. Like it still happens in London and stuff, but I think even more so for us because we were like only ones in that area. So yeah, we kind of were at the forefront of it.
After all of that, though, I can't moan about my like I had a really great time growing up.
Yeah, you know,
I can't lie. Like besides those things that shouldn't have happened, like if those things didn't happen, it would have been even more great.
Yeah.
But I still had a.
You know what, bro?
enjoyed.
Like, I agree as well. And I think one of the kind of perks or benefits really of being like the only like minorities in our area is we didn't necessarily pick up some of the toxic traits within our own cultures as well. So you know, like within our culture, as you all know, there's backbiting, there's gossiping, there's this and there's that. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like
being judgmental.
Yeah, judgmental.
That's
That's a good topic to talk about. But I think we kind of avoided all of that. I think it was obviously quite when you're kids, like it doesn't really matter at all because obviously you play with other peers, no matter what race, no matter what ethnicity you are. You
don't understand racism at that age.
You don't. You're kids. You're just having fun with everyone else, but you notice it when you get to that age, as I mentioned before, like uni age, college, like when your mates start going out to the pub and drinking, going partying, that doesn't sit well. That doesn't sit within our culture, not within our religion, and I suppose it's difficult in that sense to stay true to who you are. But I think where we grew up, it's quite obvious. It's black and it's white. Like you know that's wrong, so you avoid it. And I think that's one of the good things about growing up in that area. Like we knew that was wrong, so we just avoided it completely. You know, we might have lost friends or whatever. We might have lost some of our relationships, but at least we kept true to ourselves. And I think
100%.
that's a lot harder when you're growing up in an all Asian like community because you kind of follow the crowd. If someone of your background does something, you tend to follow them.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Because it's almost like, oh, me and him are essentially the same, and he's doing it, so it must be all right for me to do it. And it's not necessarily true, but it feels less wrong than if, say, like one of your white mates or your black mates did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, man.
Because you think to yourself, like, oh, like, that's normal for them, but it's not
100%.
normal for me, so I better not do that.
Yeah,
And that
definitely.
saved me from a lot of things growing up, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And it really brought me closer to kind of my culture and my religion.
Mm.
So yeah, that, I mean, for yourself, Saf, like, what would you say is like the main thing that you cherish about your culture? One thing that you like, or what's important to you about your culture?
One thing.
Or multiple things.
Okay. I like the sense of okay, this is a double-edged sword or a double-sided coin or whatever the thing is for it.
Are they analogy? Is that analogy? No,
No,
not
it's not
analogy.
analogy. I don't know what it is.
Metaphor.
Metaphor? Yeah, it could be a metaphor. I actually don't know. Anyway,
We're not English, so
yeah.
we're ethnic, so it's fine.
I remember, just very quickly before I answer your question, I remember when someone called me that,
What?
they were like, you F word, ing, ethnic. And I was like,
What?
is that even a cuss? Like, is that
Bro,
even a diss
I
like
remember
that?
I used to work when I was in college. I used to work in being. I'm not gonna say it. Well, I used to work in.
Don't drop
I used to
that,
work
yeah.
in a retail store,
Yeah.
and someone came in and like helped them one time. They came in to return something or whatever, and do you know what they referred to me as?
God.
To someone else, they said that half caste boy. I'm not even mixed race, bro. Like, how could you?
You're very light skinned though.
Yeah, but I don't look mixed race.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
half caste is not even. You can't even use that word anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Was it an old person?
It was an old person.
there you go.
Again, they were being ignorant. Like they didn't mean it in a bad way because they actually liked me.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah, that's mad.
it's mad, bro.
Man. To answer your question, what do I like? There's a few things I like. I like the sense of okay, so you know when something happens, like someone in the family gets ill or goes through a tragedy or is going through a difficult time or what, not perhaps a difficult time, but mainly with like illnesses and stuff. I don't know if this is my family thing or if this is a general thing. I think it's a general thing. Is that everyone actually tends to like band together, which I think is very nice.
Yeah.
There's a strong sense of family particularly actually when illnesses happen. And that's something that I think is really, really great. Another thing that I like is particularly in Bengalis, is our sense of independence. Like, in terms of, okay, let's take Independence Day, for example.
Oh, they're like pride.
Huge
Yeah.
patriotism around Independence Day.
Yeah.
But then also actually just being your own group of people.
Yeah.
And I like that because here's the difference. In England, there's a group of people who also are very patriotic, and we generally tend to refer to them as racists.
Yeah.
But that's only because they don't want to let anyone else in.
Yeah.
But we don't have that. Our community will let everyone in and anyone in as long as you're nice, basically.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about your colour or you're this or you're that. Yes, we're a Bengali community, but you don't necessarily have to be Bengali to be involved.
Yeah.
Which I think is really amazing, actually. And I
Yeah.
think we're very like a welcoming community to all sorts of people.
Yeah. Another weird, bro. I know this is like open to interpretation or the different opinions, but Bengali is one of the funniest people in the world, bro.
So funny.
For our sense of humour, it's elite, man.
Yeah. And the language as well. It's
Bro.
too funny.
Don't get me started on the language, man. Oh, I love it.
It's too funny, man. And it's mad as well because the things that we say in Bengali, that when you translate it to English, it's not funny. But when you say
They just
it in
hit
Bengali,
differently, man.
sometimes
Bengali
it's so
jokes
funny,
hit
man.
differently, man.
Bengali jokes are
Some
too funny.
words alone are funny. Do you know what I mean? Like, me and my brother played this game where we randomly said a word.
Do you know what me and my brother used to do?
What's
We
that?
used to go for the alphabet like A to Z,
Yeah.
and we would say like a Bengali name, and some of the names that you'd come out with. Because
Oh, man.
imagine trying to say a Bengali name that starts with like Q or X, and some of the things that you come out with, and you can't repeat names that sound like similar.
The same, but replace the letter.
Yeah. So that was one of the rules. And bro, some of the stuff that we used to come out with, and you only get like 3 seconds to answer it. So
You have to literally think on the spot.
So I might say to you like A, and you might like hit one, like give me a name that begins with A, right? but you might take. So I can't say the name until you say the letter, even though it goes alphabetically.
Yeah.
So I might say A, and you straight away you say the name.
Yeah.
But you might not say B back to me straight away. And because I've only got 2 or 3 seconds to answer it, so you might take your time. And like after a few seconds, then you might go, okay, B, and then I'll say it.
Yeah.
But you might also say like, so I say A, you might repeat a name A back to me. But as soon as you've said it, like we're laughing, but as soon as you've said it, you might say B straight away. And I'm like, but I'm still laughing.
Yeah.
But I've only got 2 seconds left. Like it sounds like a bit silly, but
Maybe we'll play it one
bro,
time.
it's so funny because in the midst of me laughing, you might drop the letter.
Yeah.
And because I'm still laughing, I'm like trying to think of one.
Yeah, man.
Imagine trying to think of a Bengali name that begins with X, bro. I don't think there is one.
There isn't one. I don't think.
But you have to give an answer.
Even in English, I don't think there's. I was like Xavier or something. But
yeah,
maybe we should play it one day.
Mate, it's so funny,
Yeah,
man.
we'd do it.
It's so funny. Some of the names that come
Yeah.
out, bro.
But
funny,
yeah,
man.
our culture, man, is elite and funny, man. Like I agree, man. I think that sense of community within our culture is a big thing. Definitely, man.
So, what does, obviously you asked me what culture means to me. What does your religion mean to you?
But religion is everything, man. Like at the end of the day, that's why we're on this dunya, right? We're on this earth to praise Allah, man. And religion is everything, man. Like I think like when you get older, like you realize more. I think personally for me, like when I was growing up, obviously as a kid and stuff, because we were like the outcasts or we were like the minority. I wouldn't say you were ashamed, but I didn't really pride myself on my cultural origin too much. I was quite shy because obviously the people around us, it was different to what they are, you know. And I guess I was kind of afraid of what they would think and whatnot, and I wouldn't really talk about it. But the older I got, man, and alhamdulillah, in these recent years, man, like, I've been really close to my religion. Like it's the basis of my life. It is who I am.
Yeah.
It basically, all my actions, my decisions, my character is based around my religion. So
That's really beautiful, man.
for me, man, it's first and foremost religion always, man. And like inshallah, we better ourselves in it as Muslims, and we kind of help others, we guide others. How beautiful our religion is beautiful, man. Like
It is
perfect, man.
And the religion is perfect, but it's the people who are imperfect. But
Yeah, man.
that is how we've been made. That's how we've been made, and that is the test.
That's
Isn't
it,
it?
man. That's it, exactly.
That's the test. But the religion itself is, as you say.
And where a lot of it comes from is the kind of lines that gets blurred between culture and religion, which is a massive topic, and obviously we'll talk about it another time. But people get the two confused and mixed up, and there's a lot.
That's a separate
it's
topic.
a separate topic of discussion.
Yeah.
But we won't really touch upon it too much now. But like, there's so many toxic traits within our culture, and people kind of mix up with the religion. And yeah, man, like there's so many different topics that we could talk about, and we will talk about it at another time.
Yeah, definitely.
But
This is just a brief intro explanation to who we are, what we are, the way we've grown up, and whatever. But from the next topic onwards, so the next one that we do onwards, we're going to be talking a lot more specifically about certain things, as opposed to this first episode. This was just so that we can give everyone a kind of feel for what we're going to be doing moving forward from this, and a little bit, obviously, about ourselves.
Yeah, this is the purpose of this was just to kind of lay the groundwork a little bit, just to give an intro, like I said, into ourselves and our experiences, and the other kind of episodes or discussions that we have are going to be around specific topics. We're going to really dive deep into specific areas, like within our culture, within our religion, just generally in society.
Taboo subject. I can't wait. What's one thing you're really looking forward to, topic-wise, or topic-wise, for what we're going to be talking about?
There's a lot.
One thing
man.
you're
Like,
really talking.
I think like
If you could choose one,
that's hard.
my
man.
one is taboo subject.
I think taboo subjects, but even within taboo subjects, there's so much to talk about.
Loads.
There's like you know, like the issue with mental health, with like it links to kind of assault, sexual assault, like marriage, all sorts, man. There's there's so many things that we could talk about, and they don't get talked about enough, man. And I feel like
Sad, really.
It is sad, man. I feel like obviously we're in our mid-20s now. Like inshallah, in the next few years or whatever, like we'll get married, inshallah, have our own kids and raise our own families, this and that. And we need to make sure that we raise them in the right environment. So this is why I'm really excited to talk about these things.
Yeah. There's one thing that I was just going to say that you saying that has just reminded me, like, growing up in... Okay, I'm sure everyone can agree that Asian culture, regardless of whether you're Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, or whether you're Sikh, Muslim, Hindu, or any other religions or nationalities within that
South Asian
culture area,
Yeah.
one thing that we could probably all agree on, particularly people of our age or maybe slightly older, is it's very toxic.
Oh man,
Very toxic.
don't get me started on it, man. Like,
one thing that growing up in this culture has not necessarily taught me, but it has taught me how
To avoid.
not to
yeah,
be in certain situations, which is as good as learning something. Like, does that make sense?
yeah. Like you see certain toxic behaviors and traits, and you know that's wrong.
You're
straight
like,
away.
I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to do that because
yeah.
Alhamdulillah, we've got the mindset where we know that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I feel like if you do grow up in a Muslim, Asian, predominantly like area, like if you grow up in, I don't know, I'm trying to think like Leicester or Manchester or something, I don't know, like Bradford or something like that. Like I feel like you could easily get caught up in that. And I feel like because we were away from that, we knew that's wrong.
We weren't always necessarily even around that too much.
Yeah, we just knew it was wrong.
So it's like a blessing in disguise, almost. Like, not saying that we wouldn't have liked to have grown up there, but that's probably one of the... There's pros and cons for everything. That's probably one of the pros of not being in an area that's heavily influenced by a certain one particular demographic.
Like, you're not... Because like when there's so many different families in one particular area, like people follow the trend. People are almost like sheep, isn't it? They just like follow one thing and they want to be better than everyone else. They want to be perceived as,
that always makes you laugh.
Like the best or something, or whatever. Like I still can't get my head around it. But when there's not many families in your area to begin with, like
there's not to compete against.
There's not.
So
really,
you're just doing.
Yeah, you just kind of do your thing, and
like.
My mom kind of kept quite separate to all of that anyways. She didn't really associate with other aunties or other kind of gossip groups or whatnot. Like they still were probably there, but my mom, alhamdulillah, didn't get involved too much, and
that's good, man.
And that kind of kept us away from that. So in that sense, I'm grateful, alhamdulillah, because I learned that's wrong.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So
definitely,
yeah, man.
That's definitely one of the things that I'm looking forward to talking about.
Yeah,
because I could talk about that for ages. I'm not gonna lie. Man.
So I think we both agree, like that taboo, like Asian culture, and within that, there's so many different subcategories as well. But I'm interested, and I'm really looking forward to diving into some of these topics. And the more we do this, inshallah, the more we might have some listeners, and we'll definitely keen to take on other topics if anyone had any suggestions.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point actually, which I didn't think of. If anyone listening has anything that they actually want us to cover,
I'm not always saying that now. Like, we literally have no listeners at the moment, but if we do, inshallah, when we do, definitely good to.
You never know, man. You never know who might.
Yeah, man. I think that's the thing. We first and foremost, we are doing this for ourselves, isn't it?
But definitely. We have this kind of conversation anyway. So the only difference now is that we're recording it and letting other people in on the convo.
And then we're going to put it out as well.
Yeah, man.
So that would definitely be good. But
we need to actually give them somewhere where they can reach out if they wanted to. Which I've just remembered that we don't have anything.
Yeah, we'll sort out in it. We'll obviously, once we put it out, we'll have like an email address or something. Or I don't know, we'll create like a Twitter page or Instagram page or something.
Why not?
And then they could, I don't know.
That's probably the best way to do it, isn't
it?
Yeah, for sure.
We'll figure that out. I think, inshallah, by the time we finish this and put this out, we'll have that all set up anyways.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll do that, man.
Nice. Cool. Well, that's number 1 wrapped up.
Yeah, episode 1 done and dusted. I really enjoyed that, man. Alhamdulillah, that was good.
Yeah, it was good.
It just flew by, to be honest.
For sure, definitely. I agree. Well, For anyone who's listening, assalamu alaikum. Have I was going to say have a good evening, but they might listen to it in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's evening for us.
Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever.
Day, week.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Life. Have a good
That's
life.
it.
That sounds really like
Patronising,
morbid,
yeah.
doesn't it? Have a good life.
Well, just hope you're well.
Yeah. Inshallah.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
thanks for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace out.